G'day Bomber fans, we're getting closer and closer to my favourite time of the year, the draft and trade period, so it's time the video to start rolling out. Today I'm just giving you guys a little sneak peek with a quick Essendon related draft update. We've had two players linked to the club directly make their league level debuts. We've had a prized academy kid injure himself, and we've also had some players in the open market play with our reserves team as well. There's a lot going on right now, a fair bit to talk about, so let's get into it. And also, if you want more draft content, subscribe to my other channel, AFL 101. I post monthly draft power rankings over there. I have a video out today actually where I rank the 50 best draft prospects in the upcoming draft, and next month I will spend it out to the 60 best. Starting with our father-son prospect, Noah Caracella. He is the son of Blake Caracella, who has just moved to Richmond's coaching staff. Noah made his debut under his father as coach just last weekend in the VFL, and he didn't look bad. I said earlier in the year that he probably wasn't in line to be drafted, but since then he's looked a fair bit better. He moved from a half-forward wing role to a half-back flank, and it's resulted in him getting a lot more of the footy than he was earlier in the season, and he generally uses it pretty well, to be fair to him, so he doesn't need heaps of the pill to have an impact. Caracella is 188 centimetres tall. He's leanish but didn't look out of place physically in Essendon's VFL team. I feel like he was put around the ground a bit, not just off halfback. He did look a tad shaky and was out of the play for most of the game, but to be fair, it's his reserves level debut. He was thrown in the deep end a bit, and you can't expect too much from him. He was often used in chains. He gets the ball and feeds a hand pass to a runner. He only had 3 kicks, so we didn't really see much of him in action when you think about it. To be fair, only a few moments really come to mind, but in those moments I don't think he was bad. I think more than anything it was just a good experience for the young man. I do think he's more likely to miss out on a draft spot than be brought into the club, but if we were wanting to take a risk, we could potentially pick him up as a rookie, maybe. I don't know. I do draft power rankings and I don't have him in my top 90. There are quite a few players more talented, and that's just a draft age level. There'll be more mature aged options as well, so I doubt we pick him up in the draft, but the fact he has played league level footy helps him. Jaden Nguyen is a rebounding defender. He also made his league level debut with us in that final Coburg game. He's also one that I have in my top 90, quite a bit lower down though. He's in the 70 to 80 range, so may well be picked up in the rookie draft instead of the national. He's an academy player, so we can match any bid on him, and I think if a club was to bid, I wouldn't mind the idea of taking him. He's raw and clearly not AFL sized yet, but that VFL performance was pretty promising. He had 16 touches, 6 intercepts, 4 involvements, kicked a nice goal from 50 metres out, was a tiny bit wasteful at times, but generally decent by foot. He played for Vic Metro in Champs as well, and he was a part of the AFL Academy team, albeit a late replacement option. It was good to see how he lines up with some of our reserves players, and I think bringing him in now is a good time because we probably have guys like Wanganeen and Hind out the door, so we need to have some general defensive coverage for the future. I'd say he is much more likely to be drafted than Caracella. He still has a finals campaign to play out with the Calder Cannons as well. If he can put together some big game performances, it will boost his value and help his chances of getting drafted. Isaac Kako, we all know him. He would have played with our VFL team, but unfortunately he suffered an ankle injury in a recent Talent League game for the Calder Cannons, a syndesmosis injury, so not the end of the world. He had surgery on it, so he'll rest up and play no more footy this year. He might be okay for the combine. They're usually pretty quick to heal. I don't know the severity of this one, but if anything, that helps us out. The fact he's not playing footy and maybe missing the combine, we have access to him as it is, so the only thing a few weeks off can do for us is decrease his draft value and have teams bidding on him later than they would have if he played VFL and played in the Talent League finals and was featured in the combine. In a weird way, this is actually a little positive for the club, but obviously not for Kako. He wants to be out there playing as much footy as he can, and it's not a big injury that really becomes relevant after it's done. It's just a common footy one, unfortunately. He'll be right to go in the preseason, so we shouldn't be too worried by this news. Kako has been predicted to go inside the top 20, some say 15. It's a lot of draft capital matching a bid there. It's the equivalent of 2 second-round picks pretty much, so even if he slides down 1 or 2 or 3 picks, it makes a big difference to how we can attack the draft both before and after him. Alrighty, now a couple of other guys to talk about. We've recently blooded 2 debutants in our VFL team, not just Nguyen and Caracella, but we've given chances to a couple of draft hopefuls in the open market, not linked with the club, one of which has been absolutely tearing up. We will start with James Barat though. He is a key defender, projected to fall later in the draft if he does. I'd say past the 3rd round, but obviously things can change in the next month. We're yet to even see the combine testing or the end of the Coach Talent League season. Barat played in our match against Sandringham. He was thrown in the deep end down back, lost his man a few times, but was genuinely fairly solid, which is okay. He had 10 disposals, a few intercepts. He was alright, all things considered. Making your league debut is never easy as a 17 or 18 year old. The one you guys want to hear about though was Job Shanahan, key forward out of New South Wales, all Australian at Champs. He was projected to be a top 30 pick, but his recent form suggests he could be much, much higher. I have him inside the top 15 right now. He's been tearing up for our VFL team. He's played the last 3 games for us. His first game, he kicked 4 goals straight, really tore up in patches of that Brilliance game. The second match against Gold Coast, he had plenty of chances, kicked 2 goals 3, 7 marks, 2 of which were contested. And against Coburg, he kicked a bag of 5 goals. So in his 3 VFL games, he kicked 11 goals and 3 behinds. As a kid in his draft year, that is nuts. It has many hoping we get him with our first pick. I don't know if he's quite that good, but he does look very promising. Very good marking target for the future. Now, he's not linked with our academy, neither is Barat. He is in the open market, so we would have to select him with an open market pick if we wanted to take him. But as I said, he probably isn't in the range of pick 8 or 9, which is what we are likely to have. We'll see, though. Still a lot of time left in the year. Before I go, I may as well highlight the names we probably are in line to be picking from with our first selection. We currently have pick 8. That will slide to pick 9 or 10 with academy and father-son bids, and it'll also change if we win on the weekend or lose on the weekend, depending on other results. So it's a tough year to choose a player at pick 1. There are about 6 or 7 guys in the open market that could be picked as high as 1 or 2 or 3. Levi Ashcroft and Leonardo Lombard are not available for us. One is a father-son, one is an academy player, but they are likely to fall before, or in Lombard's case, maybe just after our first pick. There are top talents like Jagger Smith, Sid Draper, Finn O'Sullivan and Josh Smiley. They'll probably be off the board before our pick, but if they, for some reason, slide, we should jump at the opportunity at taking one of them. They're all great. They're all midfielders. Luke Traynor is the only non-midfielder up top of the draft. He is a Jordan Ridley clone, intercepting keyback, who is lethal by foot, except he is further ahead of Ridley than Ridley was in his draft year. Harvey Langford is a tough one to judge. He could be gone early, could be available for us. He was the Lark medalist at Champs. He's the best of the best in the tournament. 190cm midfielder, just the type of player we've been calling out for years. Big-bodied, but really classy and good overhead. Sam Layla is another big-bodied midfielder, defensively minded. He's great at stoppages, tackling machine. Murphy Reed is a really explosive midfielder who has genuine power and speed out of contests. Bo Allen, West Aussie product. He's another big body, good size, over 190 centimeters. Really versatile as well. He's played everywhere. He's played down back, up forward, in the guts. He's really hard at it and a great leader. Maybe go-home factor attached, but I really like him a lot. Those are the guys I think we are waiting to see what happens with. Our pick is kind of like a wait-and-see selection where just waiting to see if anyone talented slides down, someone like those guys I mentioned. And if not, there are guys like Job Shanahan, who I spoke of before. Harry Armstrong is another key forward. Toby Travaglia, if we wanted a rebounding defender. Alex Dodson, if we wanted another ruck. Lots of options in this draft. It's a really good one to be active for. There is serious talent up the top and proper depth down low. There is particularly lots of depth for key forwards. Plenty down the line. Lots of midfielders as always, but I feel like there are quite a few general defenders too to look out for. I'll obviously talk about this draft a lot, every draft prospect on the channel pretty much, and on my other channel, AFL 101. So if you want to see my monthly power rankings, subscribe to that one. But that is all for now, just a quick little draft update. There's going to be lots to talk about this year, so stay tuned to the channel to hear me discuss the draft and trade period. Cheers for watching, like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and as always, go Bombers.